Good afternoon, hello, welcome to this beautiful weekend. Although there's a bit of noise in the background, so I apologise for that in advance. I thought I'd share with you a recent installation of a micro wildlife pond that I've just put in the garden, and some things I've learnt along the way and some tips that I think are important if you are thinking about doing one of these. Every garden should have water in it, and you know, if you haven't got the space, this is a perfect way to do it. I've put it in the area where I'm building up as like a small little habitat area, which has the solitary bee habitats and the bird box there and the bat boxes, which I've already done videos about. I've got a few more things to put in. I'm going to put a hibernacular for reptiles and amphibians in, but that'll come later. I have just finished this little trough, really, pond, which is right bang in the middle of all the new wildlife flowers which are just about to bloom. And I've already had some little bees coming and visiting the water, and some damselflies this morning, and so I've got newts in it because they're obviously on their way up to the big ponds, but they're quite happy going in it, which is kind of cool. Okay, so it's made out of a plastic trough, a planter. Now what I've done is obviously they're steep-sided, and one of the most important things is you need a way for animals to escape, especially newts. Otherwise they won't go in it really. If they can't see an easy way out, I wouldn't imagine they'll go in, or they might stay in and die. So I've chopped off the edge of this. If you imagine it had a lip all the way round, and then I've chopped that into 4 pieces, and then I don't know if you can see it, but I've plastic welded them on to each side so that they run from the corners down to the bottom of the trough. And you can see there, hopefully in this video, that it will allow, they're kind of ramps, and they're not steep, they go all the way to the centre of the trough where the lily is. And hopefully, and I've seen a whirligig beetle walk out up this ramp, so I know it's working. The way I did that was to weld it on using, well, I'm using a wood burnishing kit, but a soldering iron will do. You can see here the tip. It's just this is from America, but it's just, a soldering iron will do the same thing. And there are plenty of videos online about how to weld plastic. You have to be really, it's never as strong as the original, but you have to be really, you make sure you do a good job, especially as this thing is going to be under pressure from the surrounding earth. It's going to get cold, it's going to get hot. I've already emptied it once and repaired it because I didn't do a good enough job on one of the seams. But it seems to have gone really well. I'm really pleased with this little pond, and it's a good sort of hopping pond up to the big ones. And it might, well, I know the animal's going to visit it because they already have. But if you are limited in space in your garden, then this is like a perfect thing to do. You can get your kids involved, and if you need any tips and tricks, you know, listen to the video, but anything else, just write in the comments below. But a few things that of note is that this water is going to get hotter than a normal pond. It's only 8 inches deep, and in the summer it's going to get hot. So in the absence of any lilies, I mean, I've cut a piece of lily off and placed it and weighted it down in the middle here, but in the absence of shade I would put something across one of these micro ponds just to make a cooler area, and to just to help. I think it will prevent a bit of algae build up as well. Generally, if you've got a smaller environment, the smaller environment that you're looking after, the more likely it is that one species will take over. So the smaller, the more management it needs, and obviously it doesn't take a lot with a tiny pond anyway, but you're going to have to make sure that, you know, you clear too many leaves out, that either the duckweed, which you can see that I've basically, I took a bucket of water. I'll go into that in a minute. But there's duckweed on the top. There's a bit of oxygenator underneath. There's a little chunk of lily with some flowers on it, and I've put some snails in so they can start doing their thing. And I put 3 handfuls of, I won't call it earth, but matter from the bottom of the big ponds into the bottom of this one, just to get that life flowing, and all the water is out of the pond. If you've got another pond, use the water from your other pond, but most of you who are thinking about making one of these won't have, so tap water's fine. Just leave it outside for a week, and the chlorine and fluoride will, I don't know about chlorine, but I know fluoride will naturally evaporate off, and you'll have, or you can just fill it and let nature do its thing. But if you're putting plants in it from somewhere else, obviously that can have an effect. Although I have to say, I've filled my pond up with tap water for years and nothing's ever happened, but I could just be lucky. Other things to note, you might want to put something, if you've not got a strong trough. This one isn't particularly strong, it's quite deep but it's not strong, especially as I've taken the lip off, it's weakened it. You might want to put something along the sides of the hole that you dig out, just to strengthen it, because obviously over time that earth is going to push into it and it will end up like an infinity sign or a number 8, which you don't really want. But if it does happen, it's not the end of the world. It's a 10-minute job to half empty it, lift it out and repair it. I've also got some water mint which I've taken from another pond there, which is quite useful. So it is going to get hotter. In the winter it's going to freeze right to the bottom, so in the winter a lot of troughs of this size come with a tray that they sit on. If not, you can buy them, and I think in the winter it would be a good idea, in the dead of winter when it's its coldest and things are freezing, to just cover it up. I don't think you're going to lose, you could leave a little bit open at one end maybe if anything needs to come out, but it wouldn't be the end of the world to cover them up. It will stop it freezing, and if there are amphibians in there, if they freeze solid, then that's not good news. So I mean, that's about it. It's really not rocket science. Chuck some stuff in it, fill it with water, and the insects will just come, and so will other life as well. And it's a really good thing if you want to get your kids involved on a small scale. This can be the way to start. Like I say, any questions, just write it in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Hope you enjoyed it.